In Camelot's court, I saw her for the first time. She stood by the fountain, a figure of grace and beauty, her laughter filling the air like the gentle song of a bird. Guinevere, Queen of Camelot, whose very presence seemed to light the world around her. I was merely a knight, a protector of this kingdom. Yet from that moment, I knew she was more than my queen. She was the keeper of my heart. I felt the stirrings of something forbidden, something powerful, as I watched her. Though I knew it was a path fraught with peril, I could not turn away. We found ourselves meeting in the shadows, stolen moments that existed outside of time. In those brief encounters, my heart found a sanctuary in her presence. Guinevere's smile, soft and gentle, held all the warmth of the sun. And yet, even as I drew close to her, I could feel the weight of our deception, the silent betrayal that loomed over us both. We spoke in whispers, our words filled with unspoken promises and dreams we could never fulfill. In her eyes, I saw a reflection of my own heart, caught between duty and desire, torn between loyalty and love. One night, we met in the moonlit garden, hidden from the eyes of Camelot. She waited for me beneath a great oak tree, her golden hair cascading down her shoulders, her face etched with both fear and anticipation. I approached her, cloaked in shadows, my heart pounding with both exhilaration and dread. "Lancelot," she whispered, and her voice was like a balm to my soul, a sweet echo that would haunt me until my dying breath. "I should not be here," I said, though even as the words left my mouth, I knew they were a lie. She was my queen, yes, but she was also my beloved, my heart's true desire. Guinevere stepped closer, her blue eyes filled with a longing that mirrored my own. "Then why do you come, Lancelot?" she asked, her voice trembling. And in that moment, I had no answer but to draw her close, to press my lips against hers in a kiss that held all the love I could not speak, all the dreams that could never be. As we embraced, I felt the world fall away, leaving only her. Only this love that defied all reason. For a brief moment, I allowed myself to believe that we could escape this destiny, that we could carve out a life beyond the shadows. But even as I held her, the reality of our choices weighed upon me like a shroud. We were bound to our roles, trapped in a web of duty and honor. Yet despite the chains that held us, I knew that I would love her until my last breath. Time passed, and with each stolen moment, our love grew deeper, more consuming. But so too did the suspicion of those around us. King Arthur, noble and wise, began to notice the lingering glances, the way our hands would brush when no one was watching. He confronted me one day, his face a mask of quiet betrayal. "I trusted you, Lancelot," he said, his voice heavy with the weight of our unspoken sin. "You were more than a knight. You were my brother. Tell me now, is there truth to these rumors?" My heart shattered at his words, for in them I heard the sorrow of a man who had lost more than his trust. He had lost his faith in me. I could not lie to him. I could not deny the love that had become a part of me, a love that had bound me as surely as chains. "Yes," I whispered, my voice breaking. "I love her, Arthur. I have loved her from the moment I laid eyes on her, and I will love her until the end of my days." In that moment, I saw the light fade from his eyes, the friendship we had shared crumbling into dust. He turned from me, and I knew then that our time in Camelot was over. We had been found out, our sanctuary shattered. Guinevere and I fled, seeking refuge beyond the walls of Camelot, away from the eyes that would judge us. We rode together, our hearts racing, our hands entwined as we escaped into the wilderness. For a brief, fleeting time, we were free. We laughed, we loved, we dreamed of a life where duty did not bind us, where we could walk in the light without fear. And yet, even in our happiness, I could feel the shadow of fate creeping closer. A reminder that our love, fierce as it was, could not escape the world that chased us. In our final days, we found a hidden glen, a place untouched by time. There, in the embrace of nature, we shared our last moments together. We spoke of what might have been, of the life we could have built had the world been different. Guinevere looked at me, her eyes filled with tears. "Lancelot," she said, "if I could live this life again, I would choose you 1,000 times. Even knowing the cost, even knowing the pain. For in loving you, I have known a happiness that nothing can take from me." I took her hand, and in that moment, I knew that no matter what came, our love would endure. We had been bound by more than fate, more than destiny. We had been bound by a love that defied all reason, a love that would live on in the stories of those who would come after us. And as I held her, I felt a peace wash over me, a quiet acceptance of the path we had chosen. We were and would always be a part of Camelot's legacy, a love that had burned bright even in the shadows. And so they say that where we once stood, a rosebush and an oak tree grew, their branches entwined, their roots deep within the earth. They became a symbol, a quiet testament to the love that had transcended even death. For we were Lancelot and Guinevere, bound by a love that could not be broken, even by the world that sought to tear us apart. Our love lives on, whispered in the winds of Camelot, a reminder that true love, once awakened, never truly fades.